Welcome to the LDN Radio Show, brought to you by the LDN Research Trust. I'm your host, Linda Elsiegood. I have an exciting lineup of guest speakers who are LDN experts in their field. We will be discussing low-dose Naltrexone and its many uses in autoimmune diseases, cancers, etc. Thank you for joining us. The LDN 2017 conference held in Portland, Oregon, 22nd to the 24th of September, was a huge success and the feedback has been excellent. If you weren't able to join us, you can purchase the 3-day live stream recordings for just $80, or the 3 days plus 15.5 hours of recorded presentations, including all the PowerPoints, for $365. All recordings are available for 12 months. CE credits are available for NDs only. For full information, go to www.ldn2017.com. AC Farm Queensland is a high-quality compounding-only facility. With over 10 years of experience, owner and pharmacist Jack Hammond has the expertise to help with all your medicines and inquiries. They compound everything from LDN to veterinary medicines and can ship all over Australia. Visit www.acfarmqld.com.au or phone 1300 696 337. Email goldcoast@acfarmqld.com.au. Today my guest is pharmacist Jack Hammond from Queensland in Australia. Thank you for joining me, Jack.
Thanks for having me.
Now we're really excited. It's not easy for people in Australia to find an LDN prescriber, and second, to find a pharmacy. Could you tell us, when did you get involved in, first of all, in compounding?
Yes, well, I started compounding about 9 years ago, back when I first graduated, and I've been compounding ever since. And then when we got into low-dose Naltrexone, probably about 2 years after that, and we started to see quite an increase in prescribing of LDN at my pharmacy at the moment. So.
Mm-hmm. So you were telling me that you can actually ship LDN throughout Australia. Could you tell us how that works? How does a patient listening to this interview who's somewhere in Australia, miles away from anywhere, how would they get a prescription and how would you fill that prescription?
Okay, well, what we normally do is most patients would find us via our website, acfarmqueensland.com.au, but the patient can contact us. We can give them some information that they can take to their doctor. There's just their regular doctor if they can't get into one of the specialist prescribers of LDN. And if that doctor is interested in finding out more and wanting to possibly prescribe it for them, we engage with the doctor to educate them a bit more about it and explain how to write the prescription. And whether they go to one of the specialist prescribers or their regular GP, all they need to do is fax in a copy of the prescription to us, and then they just have to post the original. We contact them, get payment details, and we can post it anywhere in Australia for them to collect from the post office or straight to their home. Mm-hmm. So it's quite an easy process. However, the actual prescribing of LDN, because it's not a medication made by the big pharma, a lot of the doctors don't know much about it. All they know is the high-dose Naltrexone, and they can be a bit wary of prescribing it. So that's why I like to speak with them personally, whether it be via phone or email, and give them some more information about it. And I haven't had a doctor yet that that has refused to write one. So most of those doctors start writing it a lot more as well because they find the results are amazing.
Mm-hmm. And how do you compound your LDN? Do you, what forms do you make it into?
Yeah, so we mainly do capsules. So it's usually a 1.5 milligram, 3 milligram, or 4.5 milligram capsule. We make it with immediate release, and we use microcrystalline cellulose as the filler, so we don't use any lactose in it. And we use vegetable capsules as well. So people that have, vegans and that type of thing, can take it as well. We also make it in a sublingual drop, so it avoids the gastric system. Goes straight into the bloodstream for people that are having problems with stomach upset when they first start taking it. However, after a couple of weeks, that normally subsides. And we've also made it just in a liquid form for people that can't swallow capsules.
Mm-hmm. And I know we spoke beforehand that you don't actually have any children on it at the moment, but if anybody has a child that has autism or juvenile arthritis or pediatric Crohn's or something, and they asked for a cream, would you be able to do that for them?
Yes, I do have a few formulations for a cream, and I have had some inquiries about it, and I could easily formulate something for children. Even the sublingual drops can be appropriate for children as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And I did notice on your website, which I must admit everybody should go and look at, it's a fantastic website, that you also compound for animals.
Oh, yes, yep. Many years ago, the need for compounding for animals was quite big. A lot of the vets didn't know what to do when they had medication that was discontinued and things like that. So we flavour medications, chicken, beef, liver. We have really, really tiny capsules. And then we've also got massive horse capsules, which contain about 25 mils. So, we can pretty much do everything here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I must admit, I've got Labradors, and you don't ever have any problems giving them medication or anything. They'll eat anything.
Yep.
Quite happy to.
Yeah. Very, very lucky. A lot of cats, though, are very, very hard to get any medications. And as soon as you open the bottle, they're gone.
Yeah, well, we've got a cat, give her worming pills, and it takes two of us. We have to put her in a towel, and one has to hold it so she can't get her paws out. The other one has to open the mouth and put it in because she just scrambles. She just doesn't like it at all. So
I mean, there's cats that need daily doses for thyroid problems and that sort of thing, and we've actually designed a special click pen that gives out a tiny dose of 0.1 mil, and all you have to do is rub it on the ear. So you basically put it on your finger and then go and give them a little tickle on the inside of the ear, and they don't even know that they've had the medication.
That's amazing. And have you had many vets using LDN?
No, actually, I don't think the vets really have been educated about it at all. So I like to take a lot of time to go and visit doctors and vets and let them know about the different options for compounding.
Mm-hmm.
And I must admit, I haven't really concentrated much on LDN until recently. So I guess once word of mouth is a great thing. So once once we get a couple using it, I'm sure that we could increase the use of it in animals as well.
That's amazing. So what made you decide that you wanted to become a pharmacist?
Well, when I was in high school, I was very good at chemistry and the sciences. So I wanted to something to do with science, and biochemistry was very interesting to me. And I actually have both my parents are doctors, so my mum actually said to me, "The only thing I don't want you to be is a doctor." So I became the next closest thing, and I worked, very closely with my mum, and my dad is in Sydney, so he's an orthopaedic surgeon. But compounding pharmacy was originally what I wanted to do, and then when I was in the retail setting, I found compounding was helping more people than me just sticking labels on bottles and trying to get more people to buy vitamins that I didn't believe in. So that's when I decided I wanted to jump into the realm of compounding.
I should think it's rewarding as well, if you have lots of contact with patients other than just sticking labels on bottles.
Yeah, I mean, it is completely different to the retail setting. So, seeing the results and hearing back from patients how compounding has changed their life, and whether it be, through low-dose naltrexone, hormone replacement, helping, give their children a medication that's been discontinued, or, with the with dosing for animals, which makes it a lot easier on a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
So when I hear back from them and say it's really made a difference, then that's the most rewarding thing.
Have any of your patients told you of any bizarre side effects or anything that they've had whilst being on LDN?
No, the only side effect that I've had patients tell me about is a bit of stomach upset in the first probably week of taking it. But other than that, I've only heard positive. So it being such a low dose, and the nature of the medication, it's actually, I believe, it's quite safe for a lot of people. So, but I haven't really experienced any side effects apart from stomach upset.
Mm-hmm. And you said that you don't use lactose and you're using an Avicel filler.
Yep.
I had a question from a gentleman who said that he thought some people were reacting to Avicel. Now, my understanding of speaking to hundreds of pharmacists, that Avicel is the filler of choice. Obviously, nothing suits absolutely everybody. But have you heard of anybody having problems with the Avicel filler?
We've had patients. We use Avicel for pretty much all of our filler because it's plant-based, derived from the bark of a tree, and unless they've actually got an allergy to microcrystalline cellulose, I've had no one say that they've had any problems with that. Mm-hmm. The alternatives to use, sucrose and some of them use calcium carbonate. To me, it's not. I would expect more people to have a problem with other fillers. So that's why we've chosen Avicel.
Yes. That was just a question, because my thoughts were that Avicel was, the filler of choice that pharmacists want. But I just you're the first pharmacist I've spoken to since I was asked that question. So thank you for answering that for me.
That's all right.
So LDN, more often than not, is not used as a standalone treatment. Do you know what other things your patients take alongside of LDN, or are they using it as a standalone treatment?
The majority of patients I see, the majority of the time it's in combination with either a hormone treatment, like natural hormone replacement. Other patients for fibromyalgia might take something like malic acid, which and a few other vitamins that we compound. But the majority of the time, we'd be making just a low dose naltrexone for them, and if they've got other medications that are available from the regular pharmacy, we don't really know much, much about what they take as well. Yeah.
And it was quite interesting, you saying there that you were selling vitamins that you weren't necessarily, what was the word you used? Thought were a good idea or something. What vitamins do you think are a good idea to take for anybody, not just for people with autoimmune conditions, but, what should we be taking? What are we mainly deficient in?
Yeah, I mean, the world of vitamins is just so vast, and the problem that I find with the vitamin companies and the manufacturers is that they try to put everything into the one pill just so people think, oh, that must be much better than everything else that's got everything. However, the actual dosages of those vitamins are extremely low in comparison to what you should be getting, and a lot of them are not necessary. Even in particular things like copper. For some people, they shouldn't be having copper because it can affect mood, and it's been linked to problems with children's mood and anxiety and that sort of thing. So we compound quite strong doses of active vitamins. So we'd be using a lot of zinc, vitamin C in quite large doses in comparison to 125 milligrams that most of the regular tablets on the shelf will. We'd be doing 1,000 milligrams per dose of vitamin C, and things like pyridoxal 5-phosphate, which is your active B6. We see, we do a lot of that, and vitamin E and selenium and those types of things. Which there's a lot of vitamins that you can take pretty much everything, but there's only a few that you really truly need to get yourself back on track. But the beauty of compounding is that we can do whatever strength vitamin, and we can combine them all into one capsule or a couple of capsules, and that's what is very beneficial.
Vitamin D seems to be quite a big one over here, and I'm sure that you get plenty of sunshine where you are, more than we get where we are. Are people in Australia deficient in vitamin D?
Definitely. And as you said, we do get a lot of sunshine, but the majority of people are sitting inside their offices and, UV protection and that sort of thing. So the problem that we've got in Australia is vitamin D is regulated if it's over 1,000 international units per dose. So if it's above 1,000 international units, they require a prescription. And we something like a regular person could be taking, really should be on a minimum of 5,000 IU a day. And we've been getting increased dosages of vitamin D3, even up to 50,000 IU per week.
Wow. A week, okay.
Yeah, a week, yeah. So once a week dosing, or even 25,000 international units per day. We've got some patients on, but because it still is a hormone, it is regulated here. So we do see a lot of general practitioners prescribing it a lot more now, which is great, because the benefits of it, are really good. So.
Yes, that's really interesting. I had a doctor friend who was telling me that when I go out in the sun, even when I'm on holiday, going to sit on the beach, not to put any sun cream on for 30 minutes to actually let your skin
Yep.
absorb the sun, then,
That's
cover it.
right.
Because I always used to, before I went out, cover myself, in the cream first, so the sun never actually got to my skin. And he was saying, no,
That's
that's
right.
not what you do. So that's...
Yeah, that's what the majority of people do. So, there's the benefits of the sun creating vitamin D is lost straight away. So,
Yes. So, just out of a curiosity, how much vitamin D do you get from the sun in your skin if you hadn't got any sunscreen on?
well, it depends on a lot of factors, and the amount of vitamin D that we need, you probably need to spend a good hour and a half, in the sun a day to be able to cope without any type of vitamin D supplement.
Okay.
I believe, pretty much everybody that gets their vitamin D levels checked nowadays are deficient in vitamin D.
Mm-hmm.
But then they you can get a vitamin D supplement from a regular pharmacy, but it still, I believe, is too low a dose for a regular person that spends 10, 20 minutes a day maximum in the sun because they're in an office and in their car and that sort of thing.
Mm. And when you educate doctors in the use of LDN, what do you tell them about dosing, as in morning versus nighttime?
Yeah, well, I find that the majority of our patients take their naltrexone at night time, and I haven't. We do have people taking the morning and night. Morning or night time. I haven't personally seen any difference for the benefits of it, and usually I would say to the doctor to recommend for the patient to take it the best time that they would remember. So a lot of people, they might have it next to their bed before they go to bed, and they remember, because a lot of the time compliance is a big issue with the majority of people remembering to take it every day.
I get paranoid in case I forget to take it because I don't want to go back to being ill. But likewise, if there's anybody out there listening who's worried about missing a dose, it's not the end of the world. You can miss a dose and it doesn't matter. It's just that if I'm half asleep or half awake even, I have to come and get my LDN. I don't leave it till the next day, but it is okay. You were saying about the liquid that you make. If you had to ship liquid to another part of Australia, and as we discussed before, I didn't realise how huge Australia is. So I don't know how long it would take to get there. What is the stability of it? Is it okay being kept out of the fridge?
Yes, well, look, naltrexone is soluble in water, so the majority of our preparations would be a water base. From a pharmaceutical standpoint, that really gives you a shorter expiry date, unless it is kept in the fridge. However, we ship with express post, so maximum of probably 2 days if it's remote area. Usually it's next day if it's a metropolitan.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we can ship it in a small foam FE with ice pack for patients that are really worried about it. However, it's not required, and if you put it straight in the fridge when you get it, it doesn't reduce its potency.
And I know it depends on what the doctor writes on the script, but how many, I would say, months supply do you supply at a time? Do you supply it 1 month at a time or more?
For the majority of our patients, it's more of a convenience thing. So we normally supply 100 capsules of whatever strength. So it's about 3 months supply. And for some patients, they might be, when they first start, they start on a 1.5 milligram, and then they increase it from 1 a day to 2 a day up to the 4.5 milligrams. So that would usually, take them about a month and a bit to get through those. And then they would go on to a regular 4.5 milligram dosage. So because it is a long-term medication and usually they wouldn't get repeats on it. They would speak to the doctor before they run out, make sure that that's what they should be on, and then we would receive another prescription for it.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say the dropout rate has been in the 2 years that you've been dispensing LDN?
I haven't. I really probably can't make much of a comment on that because I don't really. I see it that probably we get about 200 scripts a day in this pharmacy, but the uptake of LDN lately has been quite large. So we've been getting a lot of prescriptions, and it doesn't seem to be dropping. So just from that alone, I believe that it's well tolerated, and a lot of people are staying on it.
Mm-hmm. And do you know when the doctor prescribes LDN for what conditions they're prescribing it for, other than you mentioned hormone issues? Do you ever get any other feedback?
We normally, when we get a prescription, we speak to the patient and just confirm what they're taking it for and what other medications they're taking too, and that's when we sort of get the information and put that on file about what they're taking it for. Mm-hmm. But the number of conditions that it can be taken for is huge. So we kind of try to make a note in their file about what they're taking it for. Yeah, definitely not. All I get is positive feedback from the patients that I do hear back from, and pretty much I've never had any patients stop taking it because of side effects or anything like that. I'm sure there'd be a number of patients that have started taking it and believe that they haven't had any benefit and they might stop it for that reason. However, the majority of patients that take it and continue to take it, I believe that it's helping with whatever it is that they need it for.
Well, my experience of people who stop taking LDN thinking it hasn't worked, after a few weeks find out in actual fact it was helping with this and this, I'm going to restart taking it.
Yes, yeah.
Funny. But I know what the question was I was going to ask you now is, what is your advice to doctors who you're educating if their patients are taking opiate painkillers? What
I normally suggest is for patients to take it away from their dose as much as possible, starting them off extremely low, so usually 0.5 milligrams, and slowly titrating it up so it doesn't interfere with their pain medication. I haven't had a lot of doctors prescribing it for patients with that are taking strong opioids, but I've had a couple of patients that would be taking them for back pain or something like that, and usually they don't notice any difference. It hasn't affected the pain However, some of the patients would say that they don't get the side effects from their opioid of drowsiness or feeling high, sense of a better word. Yeah.
Yeah, and have you heard of any of them tapering off their opiate medication?
Yes, I've only experienced a couple, but those two actually had been taking it for back pain, and they switched to a different medication without opioids, which is much better for them in the long term as well. And they found that once they changed their medication, it wasn't nearly as strong as what the opioids was providing for them. But in combination with the LDN, after a few weeks, they found that was helping as well. I don't know what mechanism, but it's been shown to help with pain in a few different people too.
Exactly. I mean, there are pain specialists out there who don't agree with taking an opioid medication with LDN. They want their patients to stop before they do that. But there are others who will wean their patients off while on LDN, and as you said, make sure that neither is in the system at the same time, to make sure there is a gap in between there. And that, So if anybody is listening, do not decide to take opiates yourself alongside of LDN. Please seek medical advice and make sure that you're doing it under the guidance of your prescriber or your pharmacist, who will explain to you the spacing that you need to take, because that's really important. But it's been absolutely fantastic talking to you, Jack. We've learnt so much.
Thanks.
And about LDN in Australia. So anybody out there in Australia who would like to try LDN, and you're worried about a prescriber or a pharmacist, if you contact Jack, he will help you either by educating your doctor or by giving you the details of a doctor who would prescribe it for you, and he'll fill the prescription and send it to you wherever you are in Australia. So once again, thank you very much, Jack.
Not a problem. Thank you.
AC Farm Queensland is a high-quality compounding-only facility. With over 10 years of experience, owner and pharmacist Jack Hammond has the expertise to help with all your medicines and inquiries. They compound everything from LDN to veterinary medicines and can ship all over Australia. Visit www.acfarmqld.com.au or phone 1300 696 337. Email goldcoast@acfarmqld.com.au. The LDN 2017 conference, held in Portland, Oregon, 22nd to the 24th of September, was a huge success and the feedback has been excellent. If you weren't able to join us, you can purchase the 3-day live stream recordings for just $80, or the 3 days plus 15.5 hours of recorded presentations, including all the PowerPoints, for $365. All recordings are available for 12 months. CE credits are available for NDs only. For full information, go to www.ldn2017.com. Any questions or comments you may have, please email me, Linda, Linda, at ldnrt.org. I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for joining us today. We really appreciated your company. Until next time, stay safe and keep well.